we're back in the shed. Why are we in the shed? You probably already know that because you've clicked on the video title. There's a couple of linkages out now at long last for the Amflow. They both do similar jobs. They are a roughly similar-ish price point. One of them has a little bit of a benefit over the other if you have the bike set up like me. So that's the one I certainly had my eyes on. Now, the guys over at Velo Dynasty Bicycle Components have kindly sent me one out to test. Yeah, really stoked. I was kind of keen to buy one anyway, so it's great to have them on board and sort of getting stuck into the channel. Now, I'll pop a link in the description. These guys don't currently have a website as yet, so you need to reach them on their Facebook page, which is Velo Dynasty Bicycle Components. I'd imagine a few of you watching this already know. There's been quite a bit of talk on the forums and such about them. This video then, what we're going to do, we're going to install the link. I'm going to measure the head tube angle. That's the number I'm particularly interested to see if it changes. So we'll measure the head tube angle before and after the installation. I'll weigh both links on the bench. We'll get an idea if there's much of a weight penalty here. Don't think that massively matters, to be honest, on a bike of these sort of weights. We'll go through, get some footage of the actual installation, some initial thoughts on the finishing and stuff like that, and then on the next video, which I'll hopefully get around to this weekend, we'll do a first ride impressions and we'll give it some abuse. All right, let's take a look then. So we're currently sitting around about 63. So let's see if we're still sitting the same once we swap this link. Now, bear in mind, I'm running the 170 fork, 27.5 rear wheel, and I'm running the flip chip in the 29-inch setting, which I'll be continuing to keep all of the same once we change the link. All right, let's bust the front wheel out. Yes, I know you shouldn't use a torque wrench to undo bolts, but here we are. I will be taking that thing out for a spin very soon. I'm just waiting for my knee to improve and see if I can still ride a trials bike after all these years. I'm quite glad to be swapping this link because I need to do my bearings anyway, and the link does come with bearings. I also need to do a few others, obviously. Right, 8mm. I've had this shock in and out more times than I'd care to admit. It is nice though, isn't it? Surprisingly light for the size of it, you know. Really nicely machined. Anyway, we're not here to talk about that. Let's pop that aside. Let's get the yoke out. Try and keep this a bit organised, shall we, Jack? Don't know about you guys, but sometimes I get a bit lost when I'm messing around with like linkages and stuff. I've been like, where on earth does that washer go? There you go, drop straight on the floor, brilliant. Let's try and put the bolts in the same sort of direction of the bike. What I will say is, this is a very easy installation. It's not rocket science, is it? Anyone could do this. Right, she's off. Yeah, 9 bolts total. And we're off. Give everything a nice little clean up. And then let's have a little comparison of the two. Right, so that's the two links side by side. There is a noticeable length increase. Like more than 10mm by eye, but it's obviously a different shape. Now, I went for the silver. I've got quite a lot of silver components on my bike. I always think it looks quite smart. So, the silver itself, I don't know what you'd call that. I was expecting more of a CNC finish. In hindsight, it does show this quite clearly on the webpage. I just didn't really notice. Still looks really smart. And yeah, it doesn't feel... To the hand, I can't actually really feel any weight difference. Maybe marginal. It is bigger. Fresh bearings in it. Not actually sure what the bearings are. I've gone for Enduro Max on this, but it didn't come with Max from standard. So it'd be interesting to see how long these last. You get it on the scales. Let's have a little look. So old Link on the scales with a little bit of dirt on there, let's be honest. 180. New Link 197. 17 grams. You're not going to notice 17 grams on an e-bike, let's be honest. Giving all of these a good clean up. So you're probably wondering, why did I want this Link from Velo Dynasty over the Cascade? Now, no shade whatsoever on Cascade. Their products are amazing. I've used them in the past. I've had a few of their linkages in the past on an Orbea Rise and a Levo. So there's a slight problem with their link as far as I'm concerned, and that is you can only run the Cascade link in the 27.5 flip chip setting, right? So on here you've got the little flip chip in the yoke. Now what a lot of riders like on the Amflow is to keep it in the 29 but run a 27.5 rear wheel, and what that does is it enables you to keep a lower BB, slackens the front end as well. So it the bike rides a bit more aggressive, I would say, in that mode. This link, however, allegedly you can run it in either flip chip setting. So still offers a 160mm rear travel, so you're gaining 10mm rear travel. It's also more progressive, not as progressive as the Cascade link. I'll pop in the chart from Velo Dynasty here. So just greasing up all the bolts on all the contact areas of the bearings, and then I will pop a little dab of blue Loctite on the threads. We don't want to run into any loose bolts. Obviously always do a bolt check, ideally during your first ride whenever you take stuff like this apart. Pretty self-explanatory this, right? We're just going to repeat the same steps backwards. It's looking pretty cool actually. We'll get the shock in, then we'll torque everything back up. Wow, this is cool. There you go. That's pretty cool. I like it. Head tube angle then. Not the most accurate measurement, let's be honest. But I think we're still around 63, 64. So, okay. I don't think there's been any change there, which is what we want. We don't want the geo really changing. We just want the extra progressivity and the extra travel. Right, last but not least, we need to add a bit of air to the shock. If you're running a coil, you probably want to go up 2 spring rates. So let's get the old air. I'm going to add in, I'm going to try 30 psi and we will go from there. Right, there we go then. That's install complete. Thank you for sticking with me for another shed video. I know they're not the most visually appealing, but it's what we're working with. It's where I've got to fit it. The link's on. I'm going to get out for a decent ride tomorrow. My knee's feeling pretty good. I'm going to hit up Rogate, I think, on a solo mission. But yeah, I'm really stoked about how it looks. I think it complements my bike well. Got a lot of silver touches on there anyway. I'll get some better shots of the bike out in the wild tomorrow. I think I'll look a bit better.